Folks, in this video, you're going to learn the full strategy my private mentor challenged me to execute flawlessly over the course of 1 week to see if I could be disciplined and patient, which is something I think is a problem in the industry. Everyone learns a strategy, nobody can execute it. Folks, you're going to see if I was able to execute his strategy, learn that strategy, and then compare it to how I traded across the course of the week. Did it impact or impair my own trading at all? You're going to find that all out in today's video and meet my private mentor. Right, if you're liking this video and you're thinking, where could I trade this kind of strategy? Why don't you check out my sponsors at Blue Guardian? Now, these guys have got an awesome prop firm. They offer up to 85% profit splits, realistic profit targets of 8 and 4%, scaling plan up to 2 million, the Guardian Protector, and they've got bi-weekly payouts. If you do want to join them, jump on board with coupon code TradingNut, all one word, and you're going to save yourself 10% off at checkout. Link in the description. Right, to start off with, let's have a look at these rules of the strategy. So if you watch the first part of this, you'll know some of them. You get the full strategy today. Now, we're trading two pairs here, gold and UJ. On the 5-minute chart, we're looking for something, WT means with trend. It's going to be above the 20 if we're going to take a buy and below the 20 for a sell. Now, what we're going to do is have a look at the price chart here, and I'm going to show you a setup. So let's just get this little WYSIWYG on the screen here and show you how it looks. So to start off with, we're below the 20 EMA, which is here. So therefore, we're looking for sells only. So the next rule is it needs to be a strong bar, 75% up the close of the range. So this here is a strong bar. It is closed 75% up the range. In fact, it's almost closed at the low. So we've got a valid bar there. The next one is we're looking at 1 hour of the candle range. So this is the candle range here from high to low is our target profit. Okay, so let's get rid of these and sort of take that here. So we're going to take 1 hour of that, which is about here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for in terms of a profit target. The ATR needs to be above 4 pips. So this is what we've got here. We've got number 4, you can see there, and we're clearly tracking above that. So we are in a valid zone for trades. Now, every CC, what does this mean? This means every time we get a color change. So you've got a bull candle here, you got a bear candle here. So this is a color change. Same happens here, bull and bear. In fact, this could have been another setup here. We closed within the 75%. It was below the moving average, and it was on a color change. So that's also meeting the rules. So we've got that. So we've got the color change, we've got the 1 hour, we've got higher volume on the prior bar. Now, what does that mean? So down here, you can see we've got some volume bars appearing. So this is the bar prior, and this is the execution bar. So you can see that has gone higher, and same happens again here. We've got high volume on this bar and gives us a valid entry. So that's the next rule. And then finally, we've got 2 more things. Stop loss can be at the very close, very close to the high or low. So let's have a look here. So this is the candle high. So we could have it there. That's also close to it, but then you're probably, in my instance, we're probably going to go here just to be safe. Okay, your risk to reward is going to be less, but it's probably more of an aggressive entry here. This one here, you might actually stick it with that, or you could potentially put it over this candle here, which is kind of close. Okay, so you don't have to. It's just an option. So this trade here went on to win. That trade there went on to win. So it was a winning strategy in this area of the market. Right, now the last one was 1 trade at a time. Now this one may have kept us out of this trade if we had taken that one. So we may have been in that trade. Let's have a quick look. How far did that trade travel? So we got in at the close. The range is here. We're looking for a 5.66 pips. So we may not have, did that go 5.6? No, we would have actually been, we would have been taking profit here. And then by that trade would have closed, and we would have got in here again. Let's say stop loss up here, doesn't really matter. We're looking for 10 pips, and that went 14. So we definitely would have had a profitable trade there. Now, we're going to jump in and have a look at how I went and go through and dissect my trades across the week. And my private mentor is going to give me a score on how well he thinks I did. Did I pass? Did I do enough for him to then teach me more of the strategy and move on to a more advanced trading approach? Or was I still missing rules and making mistakes? You're going to find that out right now. This was my first trading session. So the first one we had here was the start. So this line here signifies a start. And when I stopped having a look at the charts, And you can see here we had the color change. We had a bear, we had a bull, and this closed in my eyes 75% up the candle, entered at the close, and then took the range of the candle here, 4 pips, and went for a 4 pip target, which was there. Now going down here, we were just above that ATR threshold of 4 pips. So that gave me the green light, and we had increased volume here. So you can see that one's very slightly increased, but that was the one there. So when I looked back and measured this candle, it was actually only 68% up the range, even though it looked 75. What are your thoughts on that trade there? Did you think it
Look,
was good?
well, it looked, yeah, excellent. Well, excellent. In essence, you seem to have followed all the rules. The only grey area is that the setup candle was 68% as opposed to 75%. But other than that, I would say that's fine.
Yeah, and I suppose without an indicator, it's quite hard, and especially entering at the close because if you haven't really got a lot of time, which I found here. So I was actually trading, as I said, my own strategy at the same time, took that trade, and then I came back to this and I realized that price had sort of moved a little bit into, I think it went down first, then went up and ended up as a doji. So I know we talked about it being stop orders being an opportunity if it did go further, too far. So I thought, okay, well, we're in the vicinity. I'll take that trade. We've met all the other rules. We've got a color change. We've got that clothing below the EMA. The volume was only just, but it was higher. And what I decided to do here was put the stop at the high of both of these, which really was, we're talking like zero point 0.2 of a pip. Hindsight, that one was only 2 pips, 2.8 pips away and would have kept me in the trade and actually given me a winner. It became a loss. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one there? We won't go through every trade, but just your thoughts on that. Did I meet the rules? Was I patient enough? I mean, I didn't jump into any other trades in the session.
Yeah, you definitely met you definitely met the rules. Your stop loss, you were unfortunate with your stop loss. The there were other things that you could have done that we could discuss at a later date that could have or would have basically saved your loss there. But the essence here is you followed your rules, so that's fine.
Okay, cool. So that was day one. We'll basically break even. I'll go through the gold ones as well. Now, the next day, I took this trade. Now, I was kind of like, this one was difficult one for me. It's the only setup I saw on the session. Now, you can have a look and see if there was any others. The problem I had here was it closed. It was just below the line. Candle closed. Then it snuck sort of onto the line. I mean, it's very hard to even see. It's so close. And then also, I was making sure, I was seeing if this was going to creep up, and it just crept above. I believe it did in the end. And then, yeah, so by the end of it, it was a loss straight away. But I was kind of, happy that I'd met the rules, even though it did lose. What are your thoughts?
To me, your setup candle didn't 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 show a close, like what I would call a full close, where you see the close of the setup candle, and that line, if you like, is completely below, or should be completely below, the 20 moving average. So to me, I don't think that would be a valid setup.
Okay. So really, it was probably inexperience with the strategy at that point where I'm kind of like just diving in, thinking it's met the rules finally, and you see here, I only just started trading it. So it's kind of like, well, okay, maybe I shouldn't have taken that.
With hindsight, the very following candle, the bull candle there, coming up from the 20 moving average, as you can see, would have been a better setup, providing that the volume was high enough. In this case, it wasn't.
Yeah. So I kind of met the so I suppose the question is, did I meet the rules enough, even though it did end up being a loss and it kind of was on the moving average? Would you have said that was meeting the rules versus not meeting the rules?
Everything right up until the setup candle, where the setup candle itself closed. So
Right.
I would say no. I would have to say that was a rule that wasn't followed.
Okay. Okay. Right. So let's say a rule break there. Now let's have a look at this one. This was the only trade I took on this day. I think there might have been another setup, but it wasn't. It was a one trade rule that kept me out of it. So this was a setup here. Big, big. but it did end up being a loss.
But you followed your rules.
Yeah, followed the rules. So it was ATR volume, closed below 75%, definitely. It did get into good profit, but obviously it was quite a big candle, so had a lot of work to do. The next day, why did I not trade on this day? I think I didn't. So I had hit start, and that's right. I was picking my daughter up from school, and I missed this trade because I had to leave and come back. And by the time I come back, this had gone. So that was the one I noticed, and I was like, okay, well, I have missed that. That was a winning trade that I missed. Then the final day, I actually decided to do a live stream at the same time, and I kind of knew that I was going to probably miss some trades. And this was a setup I did miss at the same time that I was doing the live stream, which did go on to be a winner as well. We've gone through the rest of this. I don't believe I missed any other trades. I mean, this one here looked like it could have been a good one, but the 75% rule, I kept me out of it. So I do remember seeing that one. And gold, this is Monday. So this was me trying to set up the quick trade thing, accidentally hit sell or buy. I can't remember which one. And it got me into a trade, which I had to close straight away. And then this was the setup I saw here, close below. Volume was higher, and we weren't looking at the 8 hour at this for the gold. And this went on to be a win. Then I ended the session there. I don't believe there was anything else that actually met my rules at that point. Now, this one here, okay, this is the sort of dubious one, which, so I missed the entry and can't remember why I missed it because it was gold and I was kind of like, I couldn't really trade that time. So I was just looking at it now and again. We hit so yeah, what happened here? This was the setup candle. It had come back into drawdown. If I'd had my stop, I probably would have had it down here. So at that point, I felt like, okay, well, I've just been in drawdown for a couple of candles and it's come back up here. If we get in, I think I may have even set the limit order, take the 1R, and then away you go. So I missed the entry, but I got back in before it was invalidated. Thoughts on whether or not that's meeting the rules or not being disciplined?
It's I would my personal opinion is if you can't catch the setup candle in time, then miss the trade.
Right.
But as regarding following your rules, I just can't quite see. Is the setup candle is on increased volume? Can you confirm that?
Yeah, it's on increased volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the entry the entry is too late. What you could have done, but I can't quite see on my screen is if the volume is high enough on the following setup just before you actually got into the trade.
Oh, okay, right. If the volume was higher here, yeah, and it's not higher.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
okay, yeah. So that definitely wasn't a setup, but I was kind of like going, well, in theory, if I had been at the chance, I would have taken that one. That said, had I decided to, for whatever reason, in hindsight, it's very hard to say, to put my stop at the low of here and not extend it, thinking that that was too far, I would have been stopped out of that trade and indirectly taken a win when I could have got a stop out. So, bit of a dubious one. Just goes to show you how hard it is for me to take these exactly. Now, this one here, I think price shot up pretty quickly, and by the time I got in, it would just actually maybe it didn't. Maybe I was a little bit late on the entry here, and by the time I got in, it had shot up a bit, and then I thought, okay, well, I'm still, I'm trying to get in. In fact, I've got a better price than what I would have got, so I'm going to get in here, and it went on to be a winner. So kind of breaking the rules, but giving myself an advantage. I don't know if you consider that a rule break or not.
Well, you were committed, you were obviously committed to the trade. If you're entering that market, you're going to click the sell button in this case as fast as you possibly can. Price can move quickly at times, as we know. If that's got you in at a slightly better price, then I would just say you were committed. You followed your rules. That trade is fine.
Okay. And did I take any more that week? No, so this day I didn't actually see any setups in the time that I was trading. That one looked like it could be That one looked like it could be. They're all on lower volume, unfortunately. That one, there was like it was definitely not one. So there was no setups on that day. My whole theory around this was that I believe that mentors should be getting their traders to, or their students to do this kind of task before they advance onto anything else, right? So you should be able to execute the trade with patience and discipline, i.e., wait for that setup and then execute the trade as per the rules when the setup occurs. From your opinion, was I able to meet that standard? And if so, maybe give us a rating out of 100 in terms of like, yeah, you kind of would, you got 80% or whatever, 60%, or a straight pass or fail, you're going to have to do this again.
Basically, if we're working on a percentage level, I would, for the amount of trades that I've seen, I would probably say 60%. So if 50% is a pass, then you can say it's a pass. But obviously, there's room for improvement. It's in your interest as a trader to better your discipline, follow your rules flawlessly to the best of your ability. That has a huge positive or negative impact on your P&L. But a pass.
With this in mind, would you say, okay, yep, I would agree that you could move on to the next phase, which is some more, more rules, more difficulty, and then we progress from there? Or would you say, I really don't think you've nailed it here. You probably need a bit more time.
The latter. I think
Right.
that I see that there is room for improvement there, albeit that rules, basically being a bit more clear with the rules. I understand the difficulty. Well, I can give you an example. If you're unsure that the setup candle has met the 75% criteria, a simple adjustment to that can be, okay, the setup candle must have a pretty small wick on the top if it's a setup for a long, to ensure that the setup candle has met that criteria.
Right.
That's one example. Based upon that, I would say rejig the rules and do the exercise again.
Righty ho. Okay, so it's kind of like taking the rules too literal, and I suppose not factoring in that the execution of those rules is going to be quite difficult because you're not going to be you're not going to have the time to do the measurement. Is this a 75% closed candle? Yes or no? You're not going to have that time. So reduce down the I suppose the ability to make an error by simplifying the rules a little bit. So it's an interesting exercise. Look, what we're going to do now is dive in and have a look. Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. So these are the results from the test now. Certain things to remember here. So we did actually make money, albeit the risk management wasn't on point. The total trades were 8. We had 50% winners or 4 winners and 4 losers. Now, one of those losers was in fact that trade that I clicked the button by accident. So it was over a 50% win rate on the strategy. Didn't lose money, didn't make money. So overall, not too bad. Now let's compare it to my own trading. So this is using the strategy I was using only on intraday. Swing trading, I seem to be way more disciplined now. You're going to see this in a second. It's not the best looking start to the week. So this was just 1 week. Now, this was all Monday here. And I'll tell you what happened. I ended up, because I was this is my theory anyway, because I was being so disciplined and patient with the other strategy, my own trading, it's like the chimp brain just took over and was going, hey, you can do whatever you want. You don't need to be disciplined here. You don't need to be patient. I ended up trading. I trade the 5-minute chart and I ended up trading the 1-minute chart. And I'm like, what am I even doing on the 1-minute chart? So there was obviously some fundamental mindset thing that just clicked, or sorry, not clicked, but just like sort of rolled over so that my chimp brain just got loose. It got completely loose. Now, what happened here was on Tuesday, I sort of reviewed Monday and I was like, what actually went on? Was this even me? And that's when I started to apply the rules that I should have been trading to my to my trades. And that carried on for the rest of the week. And you can see here, it was pretty much upward sloping. I mean, do you think that was a fair assessment of probably what went on with my mind on Monday versus the rest of the week?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. And your equity curve here is just a typical example of what happens to your equity curve. You know, at the beginning here, where it's just basically going down quite sharply, where you're not following the rules, you're not disciplined. Yet when you do apply rules through discipline, you adhere to them, then you see your equity curve going up and to the right and actually making money. So to me, this is a typical problem for every new trader that struggles with discipline. It's not always the strategy. It's more often the lack of discipline and rule following. It's the discipline and the rule following that will make your equity curve go up and to the right as opposed to the strategy itself.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I half realized after Monday. I was like, hang on a sec, this other strategy, I think I'd broken even for the day, but like compared to losing, I don't know how many hour it was here, but instead of losing that many hour, I could break even, and then the next day I'm starting off at the same spot. So that's kind of like just re-solidified for me, which I don't know why I needed to re-solidify it, but obviously after Monday I did. Right, so there you have it, folks. You've met my mentor, and what we're going to do is give you a chance to learn a little bit more about this strategy. In fact, maybe one or two more rules. If you do want to find out what they are, then you've got a chance to take the same challenge that I took. All you need to do is leave a comment in the description, say, I'm in, and what we're going to do is pick some winners from that, 3 winners in fact, and get them to take this same challenge across the course of a week, see if they can match the rules of the strategy, and you'll learn maybe 1 or 2 extra rules as a gift for doing this. All right, folks, we'll get you back on the channel as well and see how you fared in this challenge. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Remember, hit subscribe, like, and that notifications bell while you're filling in those comments down there, and we'll see you in the next episode.